The dean called my name, Morgan Elizabeth Stone, magna cum laude. The applause was polite, a ripple of clapping from strangers, but the silence from the front row, that was deafening. I stood on the stage, clutching my diploma, my eyes locked on two empty folding chairs. I had reserved them months ago. I had begged them to come, but they were empty, just cold metal baking under the sun. My mother had told me flights were too expensive. My father said they couldn't take time off work. I believed them. Like a fool, I believed them. As I walked off the stage, the heavy velvet of my graduation gown clinging to my sweat, my phone vibrated against my leg. It wasn't a text. It was a continuous, frantic buzzing. I pulled it out, expecting an apology, maybe a "we miss you" text. Instead, I saw a red banner from my banking app. Alert, large transaction authorized. Amount, $12,500. Merchant, Grand Lux Catering, Los Angeles. I froze. The air left my lungs. $12,000. That was my life savings. That was my grad school fund. That was every shift I worked at the library, every coffee I didn't buy, every weekend I stayed in while my friends partied. My hand shut as I unlocked my phone. I didn't understand. How? Why? Then, a second notification popped up. Instagram. It was a post for my younger sister, Bella. The photo was high definition, glossy, perfect. It showed my parents standing on a rooftop garden, holding crystal champagne flutes. They were laughing. They looked expensive, and in the middle stood Bella, wearing a dress that cost more than my tuition, holding a sign that said Bella's brand launch. The caption hit me harder than a physical blow. So blessed to have parents who believe in my vision enough to fund my dreams. Launch party is officially on. Family first, blessed. I stared at the screen. They didn't skip my graduation because they were broke. They skipped it to throw a luxury party for my sister, using my money. And the worst part? I zoomed in on the guest list visible on a sign in the background. My name wasn't even there. They stole my future to pay for a party I wasn't even invited to. I looked up from my phone. The tears that wanted to fall suddenly evaporated. The sadness in my chest hardened into something cold, something sharp. I looked at the transfer confirmed notification one last time. Enjoy the champagne, Mom, I whispered to the empty air, because it's going to be the most expensive drink you ever had. I sat down on a concrete bench outside the auditorium, my legs suddenly too weak to hold me up. The sun was beating down, but I felt freezing cold. To understand why seeing that transaction felt like a knife in the chest, you have to understand the hierarchy of the Stone family. It was simple, really. Bella was the art, I was the frame. Bella was 2 years younger, brighter, louder, and consumed attention like oxygen. From the moment she could walk, my parents decided she was destined for stardom. Modeling classes, acting camps, vocal coaches. Nothing was too expensive for Bella's can't. Potential. Me. I was the practical one. The steady one. Morgan doesn't need us to worry about her, my dad used to say, patting my shoulder distractedly while looking at Bella. Morgan is self-sufficient. They made self-sufficient sound like a compliment. It wasn't. It was an excuse to neglect me. I got my first job at 16, scrubbing dishes at a diner because my parents couldn't afford to buy me a car, even though they had just leased a convertible for Bella's sweet 16. I didn't complain. I just worked. I worked through high school. I worked through college. I worked through grad school. That account, the one currently being drained in Los Angeles, was my freedom fund. It held every tip, every paycheck, every birthday check I hadn't spent. It was supposed to be my deposit for an apartment in New York. It was supposed to be my start. Why did they have access? Because when I was 17, my bank required a co-signer. My mother was on the account. Over the years, I had asked to remove her, but she always guilt-tripped me. Don't you trust your own mother, Morgan? What if there's an emergency? What if you get hurt and need us to transfer money instantly? An emergency. That's what she called it. I looked at the Instagram photo again. Bella was holding a glass of vintage rosé. My father was wearing a new suit. Apparently, Bella's brand launch, a line of overpriced lip glosses that nobody bought, was the emergency. For months, I had been sending them links to hotels near campus. I sent them flight deals. I offered to pay for their dinner if they just came to watch me walk. Every time, the answer was the same. "Oh, honey, things are so tight right now," my mom would sigh, her voice thick with fake exhaustion. "The economy is terrible. Dad's business is slow. We just can't justify the expense for a 2-hour ceremony. You understand, right?" "You're the smart one." I understood. I always understood. I understood that they were broke when it came to my milestones, but suddenly flush with cash when Bella wanted a party. But this was different. They hadn't just prioritized her, they had cannibalized me to feed her ego. They took the money I scrubbed dishes for, the money I skipped meals for, and they used it to throw a party where I wasn't even a guest. I wasn't invited because I would ruin the aesthetic. I was the boring sister with the boring degree. I didn't fit the brand. I was just the bank. I stared at the phone, my thumb hovering over my mother's contact name. My hands weren't shaking anymore. The shock was fading, replaced by a clarity so sharp it actually hurt. They thought I was safe. They thought I was the good daughter who would swallow this insult, cry in private, and rebuild my savings quietly because family helps family. They forgot one thing. I studied law and finance. I didn't just learn how to make money. I learned exactly what happens when you steal it. I stood up. The sadness was gone. It was time to make a call, but not to my mother. I didn't go to the reception. I didn't throw my cap in the air. Instead, I found a quiet corner near the science center, sat on a cold stone wall, and dialed my mother's number. It rang 4 times. She usually sends me to voicemail. But today, she picked up. "Morgan," her voice was a harsh whisper, irritated and rushed. In the background, I could hear the clinking of silverware and the low thump of bass-heavy music. "I can't talk right now. We're literally about to make a toast. You took $12,000 from my account," I said. My voice sounded strange to my own ears, flat, devoid of emotion. "You emptied my savings," she sighed, a long, dramatic exhale that crackled through the speaker. "Oh, don't start with this drama, Morgan. Not today. This is your sister's big moment." "My big moment was an hour ago," I said. "You missed it, and you stole my money." "We didn't steal anything," she snapped, her whisper turning sharp. "We borrowed it. It's a family investment. Bella needed liquid capital to secure the menu. You know how the industry works. You have to look successful to be successful." I stared at a squirrel running across the manicured lawn. That was my rent money, Mom. That was my food money for the next 6 months while I look for a job. "You have a Harvard degree now," she hissed. "You're practically a millionaire already. Do you have any idea how hard it is for Bella? She doesn't have your book smarts. She needs this leg up. Why are you always so selfish? You always make everything about money. Selfish." I had been wearing shoes with holes in the soles for 3 months because I was saving every penny. "I want it back," I said. "Transfer it back. Now." She laughed. It was a cruel, dismissive sound. "Don't be ridiculous. The money is spent. The caterers are paid. The venue is booked. Besides, we're doing this for us. When Bella blows up, she's going to take care of all of us. You should be grateful we included you in the investment." "Included me?" I gripped the phone tighter. I wasn't even invited to the party. There was a pause, a brief, guilty silence. "Well," she said, her voice smoothing over into that fake sweetness again. "It's an industry event, honey. Influencers, investors, brand partners. Well, you wouldn't fit in. It's not really your crowd. You'd just be standing in the corner looking judgmental. We didn't want you to feel uncomfortable. You didn't save a seat for me," I stated. "There are no extra seats, Morgan. It's a plated dinner, $500 a head. We couldn't just waste a plate. Look, I have to go. Bella is waving at me. We'll talk next week. Figure it out, Morgan. You're the smart one." Click. She hung up. I sat there with the phone pressed to my ear, listening to the dial tone. "Figure it out," she said. She was right about one thing. I was the smart one. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. The air smelled like cut grass and old books. I let the conversation replay in my head. The money is spent. The caterers are paid. We didn't want you to feel uncomfortable. She thought the money was gone. She thought that because she had swiped the card or authorized the transfer, the transaction was final. She thought that because I was her daughter, I would just roll over and accept that my role in life was to be the fuel for Bella's fire. She forgot that authorized user didn't mean owner. She forgot that I was the primary account holder, and she definitely forgot that fraud is fraud, even when it wears your mother's face. I opened my banking app again. I looked at the transaction. Pending. It was still pending. A slow, dark smile spread across my face. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a predator who just realized the cage door was unlocked. They wanted a $500 a head dinner. They wanted to look successful. Fine. I would help them make an impression they would never forget. I stood up and dialed a new number. This time, I wasn't calling Mom. I was calling the number on the back of my debit card. Bank of America, Fraud Department. How can I help you? I need to report an unauthorized transaction, I told the bank representative. My voice was steady, frighteningly calm. Grand Lux Catering. 12,000. I see the charge. It was keyed in manually. Ma'am, is your card missing? No, I said, but the authorization was obtained fraudulently. I am the only person on this account. I did not sign for this. I did not approve this. Revoke the authorization. Now. If we do that, the agent warned, the merchant will be notified immediately that the payment has failed if goods or services have already been exchanged. That's not my problem. I cut her off. That's between the merchant and the thieves. Cancel the card, freeze the account, and mark that charge as fraud. Done, she said. The hold is released. The funds are back in your available balance, but the merchant will get a declined notification within minutes. Thank you. I hung up. Phase 1 complete. But I wasn't done. A notification from the bank wasn't enough. Emails get ignored. Terminals get retried. I needed to make sure the message was received loud and clear. I Googled Grand Lux Catering Los Angeles. I found their main line. I dialed. Grand Lux. This is Stefan speaking. A smooth, professional voice answered. Hi, Stefan, I said, keeping my tone light, almost breezy. I'm calling regarding the stone launch party, currently happening on your rooftop deck. Ah, yes, Stefan brightened. A lovely event. The champagne toast is just about to begin. Are you a guest trying to find parking? No, I said, I'm the person paying for it. There was a pause. Oh, Miss Stone? Your mother, Linda, has been coordinating everything. She's right over there. Stefan, listen to me very carefully, I said, dropping the pleasantries. The temperature in my voice dropped 50 degrees. The card used to pay for this event, ending in 4092, belongs to me. It was used without my permission. I have just reported it stolen to the bank. Silence. The kind of silence where you can hear a person's heart stop. Excuse me, Stefan stammered. I don't understand. Your mother said. My mother lied, I interrupted. The payment has been revoked. If you run that card again, it will decline. If you try to invoice me, I will sue you for processing a transaction without the cardholder's signature. Miss Stone? Stefan's voice rose an octave. We have 300 guests here. The appetizers are already circulating. We have a $12,000 contract. Someone has to pay for this. Then I suggest you go ask Linda for another card, I said coldly. But I'm telling you right now, she doesn't have one. She's broke. This is a disaster, he whispered, the professionalism cracking. We can't just stop the event. You have two choices, Stefan, I said, leaning back against the cold stone wall of the university building. Option A. You continue serving expensive food and alcohol that you will never be paid for. You eat the loss. Option B. You stop the service right now, find Linda, and demand payment. If she can't pay, you call the police for theft of services. I let that hang in the air. Theft of services. A felony. I am giving you a courtesy call, I added. I could have just let you figure it out when the settlement bounced on Monday. But I'm nice. Save your inventory, Stefan. Stop the party. I could hear the panic breathing through the phone line. I could hear the music in the background. Some generic upbeat pop song that sounded like victory. I have to go, Stefan said, his voice trembling. I have to find the floor manager. You do that, I said, and Stefan, Make sure you turn the house lights on. It's hard to find a credit card in the dark. I hung up. I looked at the time, 6:15 p.m. in Los Angeles. The sun was setting. The lights were dimming. The champagne was flowing, but in about 3 minutes, the music was gonna stop. I didn't have to imagine what happened next. Thanks to my sister's narcissism, I could watch it in 4K. I opened Instagram again. Bella was live. Hey guys, we are literally vibrating right now. The vibe is immaculate. Look at this view. She spun the phone around. The sunset was painting the sky pink. Waiters were circulating with silver trays of lobster sliders. My parents were in the background, clinking glasses with a man who looked like a D-list producer. The viewer count was climbing. So Lux, someone commented. Goals, said another. And then it happened. It started with the sound. The bass-heavy beat of the music abruptly cut out. Bella frowned at the camera. Okay. DJ technical difficulties. Anyway, like I was saying. Then the lights changed. The soft, flattering amber mood lighting vanished. In its place, the harsh, fluorescent work lights of the rooftop flooded the space. It was ugly. It exposed the cracks in the pavement, the cheap fabric of the tablecloths, and the sweat on my mother's forehead. Whoa, Bright, Bella laughed nervously, squinting. Guys, the lighting director is fired. Ha, Mom. Mom, tell them to fix the lights. But Mom wasn't looking at the lights. She was looking at Stefan. I watched on the tiny screen as Stefan marched across the rooftop. He wasn't smiling anymore. He was flanked by 2 large security guards. He walked right up to my parents. I couldn't hear what he said, but I saw my mother's face go from annoyed to confused, and then to pure, unadulterated white terror. Stefan gestured to a waiter. The waiter nodded and immediately turned around, carrying a tray of full champagne flutes back to the kitchen. Another waiter started pulling plates of food off the tables, right out from under the guests' noses. The chat on the live stream went wild. Oh me, is the food being taken away? Why did the music stop? Are they getting kicked out? LOL. Bella noticed the comments. She spun around. Mom, what's going on? I saw my mother frantically digging through her clutch purse. She pulled out my debit card, the one with my name on it, and shoved it at Stefan. Stefan shook his head. He held up a portable card terminal. He pointed at the red light on the screen. Declined. My father tried to step in, puffing out his chest, doing his important businessman act. Stefan held up a hand, stopping him cold. He pointed to the exit. Then, my phone rang. Mom calling. I let it ring twice. I wanted her to sweat. I wanted her to feel the eyes of 300 people burning into her back. I picked up on the third ring. Morgan, she shrieked. She wasn't whispering anymore. There is a mistake. The card isn't working. Stefan says it's reported stolen. Fix it. Call the bank right now and tell them it's a mistake. It's not a mistake, I said, watching her on the live stream. She was holding the phone with 2 hands, shaking. I reported it. Because you stole it. Are you insane? She screamed. They stopped the party. They took the food away. Everyone is watching. You are humiliating us. No, Mom, I said calmly. You humiliated yourself when you tried to buy a champagne lifestyle on a tap water budget. I told you, I wasn't invited. So neither is my money. I will disown you, she yelled. I will never speak to you again. Fix this, or you are dead to me. I'm already dead to you, I said. I'm just the bank, and the bank is closed. Morgan, please. Her voice cracked, shifting from rage to desperation. Stefan is calling the police. He says it's theft. They're going to arrest your father. Please, just authorize the charge. I'll pay you back, I swear. Pay me back, I laughed. With what? Bella's lip gloss money? You're broke, Mom. You have nothing. On the screen, I saw the flashing blue lights reflect off the glass windows of the terrace. Oh my God, Mom whispered. The police are here. Good, I said. Tell them I said hello. And Mom, smile. You're live. I hung up. On the screen, Bella let out a screech as a uniformed officer stepped into the frame. The live stream cut to black. The live stream ended, but the internet is forever, and the internet is fast. Within 10 minutes, a new hashtag was trending on Twitter. Elo broke. I sat on my bed in my empty dorm room, laptop open, watching my family's social status incinerate in real time. Bella had cut her feed, but her guests, they were ruthless. I found a video posted by a beauty blogger who had been invited. The caption read, "POV, you go to a launch party and the police show up." I clicked play. The video was shaky, filmed from behind a potted palm tree. In the center of the frame, my father was red-faced, screaming at the two officers. "Do you know who I am?" he bellowed, pointing a finger at the cop's chest. "This is a misunderstanding. My daughter has the money. The bank made a mistake." The officer wasn't impressed. He slapped my father's hand away. "Sir, lower your voice." The establishment manager says the card was declined and reported stolen. You have consumed over $4,000 in alcohol alone. Can you provide another form of payment? My father patted his pockets. He looked at my mother. My mother was sobbing, her mascara running down her face in black rivers, ruining her $800 makeup job. She shook her head. They didn't have another card. They didn't even have cash. They were completely leveraged. "Then, sir," the officer said, his voice carrying clearly over the dead silence of the rooftop, "I am placing you under arrest for theft of services." The camera zoomed in on Bella. She was standing off to the side, holding her phone, furiously typing. She looked up just as the officer pulled out handcuffs. "Wait," Bella screamed. "Don't arrest him. It's bad for my brand. Not don't arrest my dad, but it's bad for my brand." The comments on the video were scrolling so fast I could barely read them. Imagine stealing your sister's money to look rich and getting arrested in a rented suit. I looked up the sister. She graduated Harvard today. They skipped her graduation for this? Karma didn't just knock, she kicked the door down. The lip gloss looks cheap anyway. I watched as the officers escorted my parents toward the elevator. My father was handcuffed. My mother was wailing, clutching her purse like a shield. Bella followed them, shielding her face from the cameras, not out of shame, but because she didn't want the paparazzi, aka beauty bloggers with iPhones, to get a bad angle. They did the walk of shame, past the tables of uneaten food, past the judgmental stares of the influencers they tried so hard to impress, past Stuffin, who stood with his arms crossed, looking satisfied. My phone buzzed again. A text from Bella. "You ruined my life. I hate you. Everyone is laughing at me." I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel sad. I looked at the screen, at the wreckage of their vanity, and I felt light. For 24 years, I had carried their expectations. I had carried their financial irresponsibility. I had carried the weight of being the backup plan while Bella was the star. But tonight, they were carrying their own weight, and it was crushing them. I typed a reply to Bella. "I didn't ruin your life, Bella. I just stopped paying for it. Welcome to the real world. It's expensive." Then I blocked her number. I blocked Mom. I blocked Dad. I closed my laptop. The room was quiet. The only sound was the distant hum of the Harvard campus. Smart kids, future leaders, people who earned their place. I looked at my diploma sitting on the desk. Magna cum laude. I picked it up. It felt heavy, solid, real. I chose the future. And as I laid down on my pillow, for the first time in my life, I didn't worry about tomorrow. Because tomorrow, my bank account would still have $12,500 in it. And my family, they would have a bail hearing. 6 months have passed since the red wedding of rooftop parties. I'm recording this from my new apartment in Tribeca. It's not huge, but it has floor-to-ceiling windows, a view of the Hudson River, and most importantly, a lease with only my name on it. The silence here is different. It's not the silence of being ignored. It's the silence of peace. I didn't press charges for the stolen $12,000. I didn't have to. The state of California took care of my parents for me. My father pleaded down to a misdemeanor for the theft of services at the restaurant, but the damage was done. His reputation in our hometown evaporated. His business partners pulled out. It turns out nobody wants to hire a consultant who gets arrested in a rented tuxedo for trying to steal lobster slaughters. And the house? The beautiful suburban home they were so proud of? Foreclosed? I found out through Zillow. Apparently, they had taken out a second mortgage to fund Bella's lifestyle over the years, betting everything on her becoming famous. When the legal fees piled up and Dad's income dried up, the bank took it all. My mother sent me an email last week. It was the first time I'd heard from her since the party. It wasn't an apology. Of course not. It was a link to a GoFundMe page titled, "Help the Stone Family Rebuild After Tragedy." The description claimed they were victims of banking errors and vicious cyberbullying. I scrolled through the donor list. $0 raised. I deleted the email. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel the urge to expose them again. I just felt nothing. They were strangers to me now, just characters in a bad reality show that I had finally canceled. As for Bella, she tried to pivot. She posted a tearful apology video on YouTube, sitting on the floor in a gray hoodie, no makeup, trying to play the victim. "My sister abandoned us," she cried to the camera. "She has so much money and she let our parents go to jail." The internet didn't buy it. The top comment on her video has 50,000 likes. "Your sister didn't abandon you. She escaped you." Bella deleted her account 2 days later. Rumor has it she's working at a Sephora in Ohio now. I hope she enjoys selling lip gloss instead of launching it. I took a sip of my coffee, brewed in my own kitchen, paid for with my own money. On the wall above my desk hangs my Harvard diploma. Next to it, I framed the receipt from the bank, the one showing the reversed transaction of $12,500. That receipt is more valuable to me than the degree. The degree proves I'm smart. The receipt proves I'm free. I realized something important on that stage 6 months ago. You can't buy love, but you can definitely pay too high a price for it. I spent years trying to purchase my family's affection with obedience, with silence, with money. I thought if I just gave enough, they would finally see me. But you cannot fill a cup that has no bottom. Now, I have a new rule. If you aren't there for my struggles, you don't get a seat at my table for my success. My table is small now. It's just me, a few close friends who actually called to congratulate me, and my peace of mind. But the food tastes better this way, and the bill? It's paid in full. If you're listening to this and you feel like the ATM of your family, stop. Close the account, change the locks. Let them call you selfish, let them scream, because the only thing more expensive than setting a boundary is living without one. My name is Morgan Stone. I'm an orphan with living parents. And for the first time in my life, I'm rich, not just in money, but in freedom.